És akkor következzen a nagyszerű előadás a külföldi vendégzsűrinktől. Shield Cosplay fog mesélni arról, hogy hogy készítette el a Mass Effectből a Garrus cosplayt. És hát ez is egy angol nyelvű előadás lesz. Köszönöm.
Thank you very much for coming. My name is Bogdan. Shield Cosplay. I'm glad to see you. And in the next hour, I'm going to show you how this thing that I wear and these thingies here are made, roughly. We don't have much time. I'm going to try to talk fast. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. But we will leave another 15 minutes at the end for questions and answers. So let us begin. I started cosplaying maybe 2 years ago. On the other side. Anyway, my first cosplay was Thorin Oakenshield. You saw it last year on MondoCon. I was to play it several times. Now, Garrus was made as, a joke that went too far. I was in Bulgaria talking with some Hungarian cosplayers, and jokingly I said, hey, I'm going to do Garrus one day. And then it went too far, and I actually did it. So, I'm thinking I'm going to use a computer. Okay, can you hear me now? This is a hands-free microphone by Garrus Vakarian. Thank you very much. Anyway, no. Anyway, let's move on. The most important. Okay, can you hear me now better? Okay, I have my both hands. I'm gonna use them a lot because the thing is, when you're doing a cosplay like this, what is your plan A? Plan A is make plan B, C, D, F, G, etc., etc. How many letters do you have in Hungarian alphabet? 40. You have more than 40. Okay, use each and every one of them. Trust me. Use each letter of the alphabet to make reserve plans, backup plans for backup plans that backup plans need. Because you're going to fail the first time. I guarantee you that. I'm in this business for 2 years, and I know I'm going to fail plan A. That's definitely. So, what I decided first to do is to rely on a 3D model from the game itself. First, of course, I decided I'm going to do Garrus Vakarian for Mass Effect 3. Why? Because, first, in the second part of the game, he earns his scar, and, well, while the scar is attractive and the armor is attractive, I really don't like doing the big giant hole on the armor because it would structurally be impossible to keep it together. And armor from the first game is good, but I really, really like the scar. Okay, the question, $1 million question. How do you treat, what is the biggest problem in treating Turian who got a rocket in his face? Anyone? Come on, it's easy. How do you treat a Turian? What's the biggest problem? Well, figuring out which side of his face took the rocket, of course, yeah. Anyway, I found a 3D model, I don't know how. I found it on YouTube, someone posted the download from a modding section, whatever, I don't really remember, it was a long time ago, it was more than 2 years ago when I started doing this. Now, first thing I did, I divided I have a laser pointer here. Oops. I really don't know how to use these thingies. Anyway, I divided it into sections. The first job to do was to identify what can I make out of my material. What can I make? I can make hands, shoulders, torso, some parts of the legs armor. Of course, I cannot do underwear, panties, and stuff. And this tie part, I know that it needed to be flexible. So, my material of choice is gray board. Compressed cardboard, I get it cheaply. Nobody ever believes me that it's made out of cardboard, but Okay, I'm gonna do something that people usually don't. I'm gonna show you the interior of my projects, and I'm gonna actually let you take a closer look at how it was done. So there you go. I can even jump in this one. Okay, take this. Take a look and pass it around. Take a look, pass it around, and please make sure you get back to me. Take over there. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now, as you can see, is everything okay? I didn't broke it. Anyway, as you can see, there's lots and lots and lots of lines. It's practically impossible to do it manually from the 3D model. That's why I have my own secret weapon, a program that is called Pepakura Studio. Now, I saw in Hungary there is a group that always does papercraft modeling. I really don't remember their names. I think I saw them somewhere in here. Anyway, that program allows you to take a 3D model and unwrap it on a piece of paper to have patterns for polygons. Every 3D model is made out of lots and lots of polygons. So, the chest piece, I identified the pieces in 3D model. Then I imported it into this program, and then I unwrapped it, and it looks something like this. I think you can, I don't know if you can see it from there, but you can somehow identify the parts, like this part here is actually this part here. You also have this part here, and so on and so on. You have this particular object here, I don't know if you can see it, as this one here. Now, it took me a while. It took me a lot of time to get the scaling done to make sure that it's not too big and it's not too small. So I didn't want to waste time and money, so I made it out of paper. The first few versions of the torso armor were just paper to make sure if it will fit in it, make sure that I have, well, somewhat liberty at movement. Now, this is how they look when they're cut out of gray board. They don't look much, but you can already see here the base of this shape, and you see here the patterns on the back. These pieces here, these are actually the interior of the armor. This, well, how do you call it? Inside of the neck. I'm not sure about the name. Now, just a second. Did you, what? I'm sorry, just have to reload the presentation. Yeah, just put it on the full screen. I kind of made a mistake again. just, yeah, that one, that one. Yeah, yeah, this one. Play it there. Oh, never mind. Anyway, I'm gonna show you how one phase of the Garrus looked like. These are the, come on. These are the chopped up patterns that folded eventually into something that looks like this. Now this part of the armor is almost done and ready for painting. Not entirely, but as you can see, I have the plating, I have just about everything ready. But let's move on. This is how this is the material I used. What the hell is going on? What's the shortcut?
Shift function F1.
Thank you. Okay. Now this is the, on the left, it's first phase armor finished, the second phase armor, and then painted and weathered armor. My material of choice, as I said, gray board, the compressed cardboard. It has no wrinkles as you have in the cardboard that is used by boxes, so you can actually make a perfectly flat surface, which is really, really great. You don't want the wrinkles that that you usually have. Planning, as I said, make many, many plans. The choice of version, we already talked about that. Number 3, Mass Effect 3, with the scar, with the entire armor, and lots of lights, lots of weapons. References. Now I spent approximately 1 month collecting references. So it ended up just about like this. Okay, now this is the folder for references. This is the folder for porn. So go figure how many references I had. Dissecting the model. By dissecting it, you can anticipate your problems. This is the part I was talking about. The blue parts here are the one I can make out of cardboard. The other ones I cannot. I can make a bodysuit, I can make these details, but I cannot make the belly, the elbows and stuff. And the reason I only did one side is because they are symmetrical. So eventually I'm just gonna do a flip. Once I'm done with making of patterns, and this is the program Pepakura. Yeah, that is Totya, I think it's called a company. They're probably around here somewhere, making papercraft. This is how those patterns look like. Now, obviously, I'm not a Turian. You know the basics, how many heads do you put in a human body? That does not really apply to a Turian. The legs are a lot longer, the torso is shorter. I'm obviously not built as Turian, but I can cheat. I can conceal myself, I can walk with my shoulders slumped, I can make my feet look longer, I can make leg part to go as narrow as possible so it would elongate my figure. One problem when working with bulky materials such as cardboard is that when you glue them together, when you want something to be exact the same size, you have to compensate for the thickness of the material. So when I have a board like this, and I want this, let's say, to be 10 centimeters, and the thickness of this is 1 centimeter. This board has to be 9 centimeters because this one is 1 centimeter thick. Same thing happens here. This one has its own length. I have to compensate that measurement by 1 centimeter to have the exact measurements, which is a real problem when you're doing something precise with the cardboard that has measurements of 1 millimeter, 3 millimeters, and 2 millimeters. So you have to compensate to reduce a line by 3 millimeters if you're planning to do this. Or to go normally but reduce this length on the other part of the armor. Now, this thing is really difficult to try. That means you keep both lengths, but you cut them at the angle so they would fit perfectly. This is really difficult. I don't recommend ever trying this one. It's better to use either these and then just add some bulky ribs here to make sure everything is connected. Now unwrapping the arm in Pepakura is simple. You just have to decide what lines to follow. For example, I could go to make this armor circular, to have all these patterns follow a circle around me. But since I know that I have this line here, under this angle, I figured that it's easier to start from this point and make a triangle, because it's structurally more sane than a rim that I was about to make. So you recognize the parts already. The Pepakura will generate numbers on adjacent faces, so you know which faces you connect. Some work in progress. You see the chest part is coming around. This picture is made in February 2015. That was the time where I started doing most of the job. The backside, the interior, and the main torso, interior of torso. It was really tricky to decide how much space do I need for my own head. I mean, I have a big head. Everyone says so. My circumference of head is 62 centimeters, while average is 58. So I really have a big giant head. I need to make room for my... And this is how it looked like in April 2015. So I had just about everything done, but you see the lack of details. There are no details. There are no these plates you have here. This is something that I came up with a lot time later. Almost a year later, I started adding the plates. And then the Tolkien Fest came, and I have to abort everything. We organized the Tolkien Fest, and I had to rebuild some of these stuff to make Thorin armor even better. And I spent maybe a month organizing that. It was great, but I had to put Garrus on ice, unfortunately. In the meantime, before returning to Garrus, I made two costumes, Darth Nihilus and Bender. Now, this may seem like an off-topic, but it isn't. We're going to discuss later how I made this head to have it perfectly round out of cardboard, and also his mask, who is also perfectly round out of cardboard. And it was a good practice to see how long can I hold in a confined space, strapped inside with sweating and everything. It was also an engineering test for materials. Now, 1 year later, I started doing all the pieces that hands and legs and everything. You recognize the hand piece, this one. So you see the logic. Every part, the arms, the side of the thighs and the legs, everything was done in Pepakura. Now this took a while. It's easy job, but it takes a lot of time. This is how it looks when it's finished. As you see, no painting has been done. And many people ask me how to bend the cardboard. You can bend it, yes, but it will snap. But if you use water to water it, to moisturize it, then you can bend it around a bottle or a can or whatever you want. Just strap it, and then after maybe 6 or 7 hours, when everything is dry, you will have a perfectly round object. That's key. That was a key for the shoulder sections, because as you can see, they are basically part of a sphere, perfectly round. Now, Pepakura has a flaw. It uses 3D model. as its starting point. Now, what that does, it makes polygons. You remember all the Tomb Raider games with Lara Croft having triangles instead of boobs? Well, that's how the round surfaces were done before, and that's how they're done now. There is no way to make a large amount of polygons on a 3D model used by a game, so and the game to run smoothly on every configuration. So you have to save. But as I mentioned with Nihilus, this was probably the most important learning experience when working with cardboard, with the gray board. This is how the mask looked before I start carving it and sanding it and using the putties, what's the word? Yeah, the putties, the body fillers, and then I grinded it, and got this super smooth mask. Now this is, I hope I will get sponsorship from these guys, because this is what I use. Body soft filler for cars. Watch it when you use it. It's a bit toxic. You don't really need to wear a respirator, but make sure your window is open. And then lots of grinding. Make sure you use protection. Durex is not protection for this. You use a respirator mask. You use eyeglasses. You use grinders. There'll be lots and lots and lots of dust. Don't do it in your living room. Somebody's gonna kill you. Trust me. Make sure you have a room to work. That's what you call a workshop. You don't work in a living room, right? Okay, I do. And after much grinding and sanding and filling again, you have this super smooth surface, all painted and all fancy, and you can actually see yourself in it when I shine it, you know. I learned, as I said, on lots of side projects I had, like Mandalorian helmet I did a couple of times, and of course the good old Ding Rodriguez for Futurama. It's entirely done out of cardboard. When I put it on, my eyes are here, and it's really heavy, and unfortunately I only wore it once. I hope to do it again sometime. Now, the biggest problem with Turians and other aliens is they usually have reverse legs, the digigrade joint system, that people don't have. It's basically what the birds and dogs and cats have on their rear legs. Now, I obviously don't have that. I have my knee that bends backward. They have their knees that bend forward. So I had to make some adjustments. And this is how this looks like. Okay, can somebody take over this one so you can look it around? Willie, come on. I don't want to jump around again. I'm going to destroy something else. Now, as you can see, this is the ground level, and my foot goes here under this angle, making an illusion that I am actually, that moment is my knee. So I'm gonna wrap this like here to see how it looks without all the bindings. It looks something like this. It's really difficult to walk in it, of course. It took me some practice. I used to run up and down the 5th floor for a couple of times, throwing trash and everything, and the neighbors looked at me strangely. I cannot blame them. I mean, having a guy running around with this, okay, it's a weird thing. It's a weird stuff, I admit it. Moving on. Some close-ups of my lovely, lovely shoes. These are just the parts that cover them, the upper feet part. I made some modifications since last time to make them more comfortable, but I don't think this can be comfortable at all. I know that the girls like walking in high heels. I don't know how you do it, but I congratulate you. I'll never tease any girl for wearing high heels ever. Okay, starting next year. Starting next year, yeah. Some other shots. the mechanism of attaching myself to that, to the feet, to the shoes is really simple. I put the Velcro tape on the soles of my shoes, and I also put Velcro tape on the top of this. I stick it around and wrap it around like all those old shoes, sneakers for children who are not yet capable of binding their own, or untying their own laces. And the interior of this costume, unfortunately I cannot show you now. It's a bit complicated to take this off. I had to, while working on Blender, I figured out I'm gonna choke in it. I'm gonna boil. So I decided to put in my trusty old computer fan and make sure I have a air conditioning unit. Now the switch is here. I don't know if you can see it rotating. It really cools me down. Luckily, I don't need it these days. It's pretty cold outside. But it works. It reduces my temperature, making sure that I actually can withstand the heat and the sweat and everything. Now, of course, there's something that is called Promaja in Serbia, but it killed more Serbs than Germans, the Ottomans, and every invader ever. Nobody saw it, though. Now, I wouldn't do this costume if I weren't able to do lighting system. Now, lighting system is really essential. It gives you that little edge, its attractiveness. We have full light now, but I think you can maybe see it. Is it on now? Yeah, it works. You have that hand somewhere in there. There is a switch on it. Yes, that's it. That's it. There is a switch on the hand. There is a switch right here on my thigh. Right here. And of course on my trusty old visor. These are the lights, position of lights based on reference pictures that he has. Now, I obviously didn't do these two, but I'm planning to do it. These are the ones that I have, so I have only 2 sets left. And he has several lights on the back inside this fan, so I'm probably going to install that, you know, fans that have LED lights inside. They look fancy and they look really, really nice in the dark. Now, unfortunately, we don't have dark here, but, well, for some photo shooting, it's really, really nice. And a little tip how to make simple LED system. Now use the toilet paper tube, the narrow one, the really narrow one, cut it about 2 centimeters, and then you use 1 piece of EVA foam, stick a LED diode through it with her legs, and then put that assembly inside the tube. So the tube actually becomes a light bulb. You glue the tube to the interior of an arm. This is how I made these nice lights. They're focused outside. No light is dissipated inside. I didn't even have to use the mirroring system to increase the intensity of light. Of course, I advise you to make a distinction between plus and minus when you're doing the electronics. It will make your life really easier once you need to do some maintenance, once you need to do some repairing. So the red one is always the phase, the plus, and the black one is minus the 0. Now, I already told this joke. Did anyone remember the answer, please? Please, Admiral, please. Now, yeah, mask. The mask had 5 variations. This mask that I put there, that white bag, yes, thank you. This is the 5th incarnation of the mask. The first one was made 2 years ago. It just made sure that I can do it, that I can make the scale right. Stefane, pređi u prvi red. Now this is how this mask looks now. I'm gonna unwrap it really soon to show you how and to show you how I put it on myself. Version number 2 was made of the same model out of EVA foam. Also experimenting with materials, making sure it is possible. I wanted to do a full face latex mask to have a mimic of face, but it turns out it was well out of my reach. This is the work in progress picture of mask number 3, the one I used on Japanism. As you can see, a lot more details, a lot more detailed model was used. And I used a mixture of latex and flour, baking flour. So you mix that up together and you have this mask that you can shape in any form you want. Unfortunately, when you don't have enough experience, you end it up looking like this. It's good, it's good. It did its job, but it lost all of its shape, unfortunately. It lost all the details, the nose is invisible, it's flat totally, and it was poorly painted. And this is the mask number 5 I have here. Mask number 4 was another test with material that failed miserably. I'll hope that no one will ever see these pictures. Now, putting on the mask was a problem until I figured out what to do. I figured if I become Zorro, it will be a lot easier. Now, I cannot do it with my hands bound up here, but you can see the idea. I put this one exactly on my face. This one goes on the top of my head. This one goes on the back. This one goes here. And this one is holding my chin. Now, this is the part for back of my head. How it's done? Well, quite easy. I put him like this, back, and the Velcro tapes that I have here, I don't know if you can see it. Trust me, they are here, they are white, so you cannot see it. They correspond with these two. So, is there any volunteer here to put this on his head? Anyone? Come on, take off your eyeglasses. Have a seat here. Here, yeah. So, put this one on. Okay, now you look like Zorro. Oh, sorry, made a mistake. Sorry. Watch your nose. Okay. It goes like this. What's your name, by the way? What? Put this one on your chin. Yeah, we have Zorro here. Watch your ears. Like this? Well, this, you have to look through it. Yeah. Am I gentle enough?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay, now, do I look this silly? Now, don't worry, stay calm. Don't panic. This is the first phase. So, I have back. Now, next part is to do a chin. Let's do a chin. Chin is done also really easily. Where is your... Yep. It holds here and here. We're almost there. Hang on just a few more minutes, and then the main part. The mask itself that goes... I never did that to another person. I did that to myself, so it's kind of strange. Well, this is the roughest possible version. Can you see anything? Yep. Okay. Well, this is more or less how it's done. Okay, stand up so people can see you. Okay, good job. Okay, let's take all of these off. And it's really taken off easily. Bunch of Velcro tape. Let's see, the chin part. And 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 the chin part And this one, now you're just Zorro again. Okay. And we take this one off like this. Okay, thank you very much, thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's not easy to breathe in it. I didn't put it on today at all, but on the other side I had time to see everything right here. But I will put it on afterwards for photographing. One other picture of this. Now, eyes. Yes, you cannot see it here. This is my natural brown eye. This is Garrus's eye. This is my eye with the contact lens. And this is the procedure how to put a contact lens on me. Like this. No, it's not funny, it's painful. There is an alternative version to this. You have two guys holding my hands, like this. One guy holding my legs. One guy kicks me in the nuts, and then the third guy just slams the lenses in my eyes. And that sometimes works. Sometimes. Not always. Now, the technique that I discovered working on Garrus is something that I call planting or paneling. You see, these panels here are not exactly part of the model. You see, 3D modelers for games do a little cheat. They don't need to model every crevices here, every line. No, the guys from the texture department do it. Let's get. Because it would overload the game, you wouldn't be able to render it properly, to run it properly. But notice this. No, you cannot really see it, but the lines of Garrus, the lines of these changes in color actually follow, in 80% of the cases, follow the lines, the edges of the mesh of the 3D model itself, which is really handy because you can take your pattern back. Of course, you saved your pattern, and then draw the lines from, let's say, this little edge here runs from this polygon, this here, it goes back here, goes back to the middle of these two. So, with that in mind, it was easy to make these additional panels that go over the original mesh. Now, this is how they look like. You can recognize, for example, these here. These are the ones I have here. This little dude here with the hole, it's the one on my back. The right here one. This one goes right above it, etc., etc., etc. Well, it's once you have all the patterns, it's actually easy to go back a couple of steps to do that, and it really pays off because you see. Well, you don't see any details here because there aren't. It's flat. Best I could do this is to make sure it's mirror flat, like my shoulders, that has no details. But when I add these, I have this detailed map of lines, crevices, and everything, and it looks somewhat, and it looks like this, which is really, really nice. A couple more shots from the front and the back and the side. Now, painting, yeah. I didn't have this guy to do painting for me. I usually don't paint. That's my weak spot. The painting is just too messy. But I managed to do, let's say, 90% of the paint job on this one, only using 4 acrylic sprays: black, silver, dark gray, and of course blue. And the same blue I used when I make my little TARDISes. And this is how it looks like freshly painted. I used a lot of masking tape, lots of references, and of course, when you make a model like this and you paint it, it looks too fresh. you don't want your models to look fresh. You want them to look like they are being worn. This is not a new armor that was issued to Garrus. No, it's his old armor that it was issued to him years ago, and it's better. It has stains and everything. He doesn't have time to rub every little detail of it. And so you use a technique called weathering. Of course, I believe you all heard how weathering is done. You just pour a bunch of black, pour a bunch of brown, smudge it around, then use a wet cloth and wipe everything out, and everything that remains is good. It's weathered. You have little spots of mud here. Here, of course, you have dirt. For the rifle, I use something similar and that I call natural weathering. I left it in my workshop, just underneath the place where I paint. So whenever I paint with a spray, every little nudge of color falls on it, and then in the night I just blow the dust away and cover it with one layer of binder, the matte acrylic lacquer, then flip it on the other side, and then next night I do the same. So my rifle is really naturally weathered. I didn't actually use the brush on it at all. Now, dressing up. Of course, the key here was a bodysuit. The bodysuit was made by this little horny girl here in the first row. Yeah, she also did a paint job for the mask right here. And the key points are neck, biceps, and thighs. Why? Because this is where you can do most damage to yourself. Now, on the thighs, I have here it is, a piece of Velcro tape here, and I also have. Well, I'm gonna die if I continue doing that. I have a piece of Velcro tape inside in the interior of this piece. Now, to put it on, I have to connect these two Velcros together. It's sometimes a bit difficult, especially if you're irresponsible like I am. A little tip when you do the armors like this. Don't get fat. It's not a body shaming, it's Bogdan shaming. I weighted 75 kilos when I made that. Now I weight 85. So I cannot fit in this armor anymore, so I have to cheat. So I have to drag this and pull this one on, drag this, pull this one on. Unfortunately, my biceps didn't grow any bigger, but my stomach did. So I cannot even put this one together. Yeah, you see? So don't get fat, or at least exercise. The neck part is one important thing because on the back of my mask, I have a Velcro tape that will stick it to my neck, making sure that it doesn't fall off, that I don't have, you know, my neck visible. Now the panties here. The panties, the crotch part and the virginity keeper, let's call it that way, are one of the rare elements that are made out of foam, because with them, made out of foam, I can actually sit. If I would make this out of cardboard, I would sit and, well, I don't want to think what would happen if the cardboard would snap on in that piece. I don't want to think about it. Of course, I can afford to have these two out of cardboard. They're not going anywhere. And this one definitely has to be soft. Yeah. I'm not risking anything. The belt is a late edition. Let's see if I can find it. The belt was done after I got fat. And its purpose was to just go down. Its purpose was to, you know, get my shape a bit better, to bind me here, to make me I don't want to have those, you know, bulges spoiling around here. You don't want to see that. And of course, there is one more thing, and that is, well, a pocket. I can put my wallet, my phone, my business cards. I'll give each and every one of you the business card when I'm done. And it's quite useful, you know, handy. It hides under here. It has these nice little details, these buckles here. I'm really happy how it turned out, and well, I hope I won't be needing it. Even when I do, when I stop needing it, I'm gonna keep using it. The ties, we saw them. They are made out of two parts that are interconnected. For this occasion, I glued them here because I know that I'm not gonna be taking it on and off and everything. The light is right here. I don't know if you can see it. And right here, I use lots of Chinese lamp. They come really cheap, about €1. And I use like 10 of them on this costume. Yeah, the shin parts. Standard issue story about Pepakura and everything. This is how they look. Here, they're connected with Velcro tape on one side and the another. They're another victims of my gaining of weight. But this time, it's a positive gain of weight because besides getting fat and drinking lots of beer during the summer, I rode a bike. So, yeah, my bicycle legs also grew bigger. So I cannot even put them properly as well. So, next time I do it, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger so I can do whatever I want. We already saw the chest piece. I'm not going to take it off for a while. It's fully weathered. Also, another tip. When you're making an armor that will go close to your body, you have to make sure you place an isolation from the sweat. Water itself, it's not a problem. I had a dog pee on my armor. There was no problem whatsoever. It had a little poop on it, and I just took a shower and wiped the poop with a shower, and everything was fine. But sweat is a problem because of the salt. Salt will dissolve everything. So I installed lots of tape, lots of, you know, those ribbons that are used on your backpacks, the PVC ribbons. Also, you can use ordinary bandage soaked in the glue. It will give you approximately 6 to 7 hours before it starts to melt under sweat. Now, this one is not such a problem because there's very little contact between me and the armor. I only have it on my shoulders here, a tiny strap here, and a little bit on my back. Now, when you're working on medieval armors, it's a problem because everything is pressed to your chest and to your back. So 100% of the sweat will go to your armor. Make sure you do lots of isolation. If you can get a hold of, I don't know, isolation for boats or something like that, that can be handy. We already visited the shoulders. I'm not going to talk anything specific about them, except that they are probably the most difficult part of the armor to put on myself. The thing is, they're really tight. They have to be, and they have to be maintained regularly, because the shoulder is the part that I move the most. Everything else, thighs and the shin, everything is on the bone, but the shoulder part is at the joint. So that means that it moves along. So it has to be really, really tight inside. You saw the hand is, both hands are here, right? They are, probably. Well, and the interior of the hand is still on me with the Velcro tape, and of course I put some EVA foam inside to make sure that it's nice and snuggle, not to wobble around, not to rotate. It's tight on my my wrist. I have red right here, and my circulation in my finger is, well, not as good as I wanted, but it pays off not to have the entire handpiece that is this is quite difficult. If I do this, I don't want it to rotate several times. I just want it to have it nice and snuggle. Now, okay, we're done with my part. It's your turn now. If you have any questions, ask them away about any of the any procedure. Anything?
Do you use craft foam or normal EVA foam?
What?
So I heard there are EVA foams specific for crafting, and there are normal EVA foams, and I have tried the normal one.
It's a bit of tricky. It's tricky in Serbia. We don't have the classic EVA foam for crafting. We don't have crafting foam itself. We have these Chinese puzzles that are usually used by kids to play on them. We use that. That's basically the only EVA foam we have. We have those thin sheet 1mm sheets. We have those 1mm sheets that I sometimes use. The earlier version of the mask was made by it, but we don't have access to that kind of material, unfortunately. Thank you.
In the end, what was the mask made of? The final mask. What was the what was it made
What was it made of? It's made out of paper. It's made out of paper, a really thick paper. I think it is 200 grams paper by Pepakura. You can see that I soaked it in liquid latex. Yeah. It is liquid latex inside, and it serves as a protection from sweat. Because if I would put just my face, my sweaty face inside, this would just fall apart on me, and, well, it would last for maybe 30 seconds. But this way, with the latex, I expand its well, lifetime. Next question? Anyone? You have questions?
Not cosplay related, but what is your favorite ending? Not cosplay related, but what is your favorite ending in Mass Effect 3?
Most favorite character?
Not the ending. What ending did you choose?
Weapon. No, I cannot hear you.
What ending?
Oh.
Sorry.
I killed them all. I killed all of them. Yeah. They deserved it. They destroyed Rannoch, they destroyed Ilos, they destroyed Earth. They deserve to die.
That's what I choose to.
I'm not going to make a symbiosis with them, no. Of course, I would like to try the DLC with a happy ending.
Also not cosplay related, but do you have any other 3D artworks? Because I saw that you do the planning in 3D, and do you also do renders?
Well, again.
So do you do 3D only for planning, or do you do it as an art form on its own?
Well, I do it mostly for planning. I used to do lots of 3D, even make some money out of it, but it ran over me. It's an industry where you have to be constantly on the spot. But I started my faculty, I started my high school, I just lost the rhythm. So I just do it to make maybe some adjustments to the model. It is useful. For example, there were a lot of meshes that were not together. I had to merge them. There were some polygons that were extra, and I had to delete them. Some they're used in cutscenes, some that are used in the actual game. So I had to do a lot of cleaning. So the knowledge of 3D modeling came really, really handy.
Thank you.
Hey, hello. I wanted to ask you, who did you save on Vermeer, Ashley or Caden?
I'm gonna disappoint you. I saved Ashley.
Oh, and why?
What?
Why exactly?
I don't know.
Because boobs, right?
Caden has bigger boobs.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna play one more time to save Caden, okay? Anyone else? Come on, I'm not gonna bite you yet. Well then, how much time do you have left? 4 minutes. Nobody else is asking anything. Well, we're right on schedule, right? Nice. Well, thanks for watching. Well, I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed it, well, here's Naked Garrus for carrying with a hat. If you didn't enjoy it, well, here's Naked Garrus for carrying with a hat, of course. Thank you all in the name of myself as Bandershield Cosplay, Pumpkin Workshop, the shop that I work and craft props and armors and everything, and Valinor Serbia. Make sure you visit our Facebook page and the organizers of Tolkien Fest. So, well, thank you all for watching. Just before you go, we can show the video, right? You have sound for the video? I'm going to show you the performance from Japanism that actually brought me here. So let's see.
Hostile engaged. Look out. He's got company. Press the fire. Look out! Nice shooting. They're pulling out. That was almost too easy, but I'm not complaining. So let's find out who's really the best shot. Long range, I wrote the book. Nobody alive can do this, not even Commander Shepard. Give me a tough one. I guess it's your lucky day. I'm Garrus Vicarian, and this is now my favorite spot on the Citadel. I think I'm going to erect a monument right across the sun for the whole galaxy. Now, believe it or not, this damn gun still needs calibrating.
Thank you all. That would be all.
Hostile engaged.